for the average person, you know, to imagine that they wouldn't be doing the slaughtering and, you know, seeing the meat come from the slaughterhouse, but to be expecting a similar quality, if not better quality product. What are some of the challenges that you guys have encountered, apart from the obvious industry related challenges? And I would imagine that also convincing people, or are you not there yet?
I think there's a few things that were challenges, and I will just touch on the broader, this being a new industry.
Mm-hmm.
Being a new industry for Africa was challenging in the beginning because we had to, you know, convince South African investors of the industry, convince
Sure.
international investors of Africa and of, you know, the fact that we are capable of doing it in Africa and the risk that resides here. And so, or perceived risk that resides here by international investors. And so I think that in the beginning was quite challenging for us. I think the other thing in general is just that with this type of technology, it is difficult. And so there's a lot of work that our R&D team does to learn and upskill themselves. And sometimes that is not without challenges, some of them being technical and a lot of them sometimes just being, you know, working with the unknown and not necessarily knowing the time that it will take to get to a milestone. And so, you know, we have had delays and those kinds of things that come with just anything that's new.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're in a better position now. We know a lot more than we did 2 years ago. But I think, you know, with science, there's going to be constant challenges and it's about us upskilling ourselves. And I think one of those things is looking at how do we bring institutional knowledge that exists outside of South Africa and outside of Africa into the country to really bolster our team and bolster what we're doing to be ahead of the curve as well.
Yeah. What about the perception, the public perception? Because we'll talk about some of the milestones now, but I believe you guys have actually a product, or at least you've made that leap to having something tangible to offer to the public. What has the public perception been like?
So we did a product launch, which was to showcase a prototype. It's very, very exciting. It was on the 12th of April.
Yeah.
From my perspective, just working on something for 2 years and finally being able to show people what we've been working on in a tangible and real way was just incredibly exciting. The team behind us, incredible, and they really pushed very hard to get here. And I think in terms of the perception, so the event didn't necessarily have a lot of people tasting our burger, but we had a lot of our partners, a lot of people that work in the food space, whether it be chefs or food distributors on the day and investors. And I think across the board, people are just very excited. I think you're seeing a conscious consumer, and that's across the board. And that's why you see big food companies pushing more. You can see retailers have more variety than they've ever had. And so the appetite is there. I think there's still a big education component behind cultivated and it not being plant-based, but it's getting there. The more events we do, the more of these podcasts we do, it's getting the name out there and getting the understanding there. And so in some ways we're lucky that it takes so long because we can do the education as we scale up. True. And I think we've got time on our side to do that, which is just a lot that's needed for this type of product. But in terms of some of the research that also exists, there's a research done by the Credence Institute that says 53% of South Africans on a representative sample would purchase cultivated meat, even at a higher price point when it's readily available. And that was on a small sample, and we do need to do additional market research ourselves, but there's already an indication that it exists. And I think you can see it anecdotally, even if you walk into a retail store. People are looking for other products where they can make different choices.
Sure, and more sustainable choices. I like the knowledge that the consumers also becoming more aware and demanding, you know, to have a choice towards more sustainable products. That's great. I definitely support the notion that there is need for further education to really enable the uptake And I like the fact that while you guys are preparing, you're scaling up and all that, the scientific part of it, you're also keeping an eye on the education such that once you're ready, the market is even better prepared to receive your products as